Welcome to another round of the Source Endorsement Series. I am here with Stephanie, who's running for Redmond School Board. And we're just going to start off by having you introduce yourself and tell everyone why you're running.
Well, hello. My name is Stephanie Hunter, and I'm running for Redmond School Board Position 1. I am a parent and a foster parent of students in the district, and I also have worked with children and their families that experience disability and mental health needs in 3 counties, all Central Oregon counties. And I have done that for almost 20 years. And being a parent and navigating the special education system, because my children receive those services, and also working with families, one of the functions that I serve is I act as a bridge between home and school, because there's a lot of challenging, behaviors that require intervention. That's my job. That's what I do. And there's a role that the community, family, school are all serving. And through that experience, my own experience as a parent and working with families, I have a very objective lens about the needs of home and school and what those bridges can look like. And I think that perspective will be valuable, spending time with family. And I've also just been very involved in school since my daughter started early intervention at the age of 3. I've been a school mom and learned everything that I could, been very, very involved in many different areas.
Great. So Stephanie, tell us, what's your biggest concern for the students of your district right now?
Right now, my biggest concern is that we've all been through a collective trauma. We're still going through a collective trauma. There are some of our students that have lost family members, or they have family members that might be experiencing those long-term effects of COVID that we still don't know what that's going to look like. So there's a lot of fear. They're entering a whole different world. And I want to make sure that we're meeting their needs of mental wellness, addressing the unfinished learning, and helping them heal from what they've been through. And academics are absolutely a part of that. But you have to feel well and be well to learn. So we need to make sure we're meeting all those needs for our kids.
Thanks. So what makes a good school board member in your mind?
Well, my perspective on this is you got to have some vision for the district, some ideas of the direction you want to see it going. You have to respect that every other person who has gone through this campaign process, my goodness, and stepped up to serve, they are all there to help kids. So even when you don't agree, you need to respect that you all are there for the right reasons. A willingness to work with the superintendent, the staff on setting targets, measuring how we're doing on those things, being able to take accountability when the decisions you make have an impact. And, we'll celebrate when they have a positive impact, but sometimes we have to say, wow, I probably should have thought that one through a little bit more. And really the big one is just being able to ask questions, because we're surrounded by these subject matter experts in the school district that their job is to know what to do, and being able to ask them the right questions so you can make informed decisions.
Thank you. So there's kind of a controversial bill, one of many in the legislature going on right now. They are soon poised to pass a bill that allows local governments the option to ban people with concealed carry permits from bringing firearms into public buildings. Do you believe that the Redmond school buildings should require those with concealed carry permits to check their guns at the door?
One of the things that I like about this bill is that in a year where so much local control has been taken away, it's being given back. And so when this comes before the board, the first thing that we need to do is we need to ask all the stakeholders And the most important stakeholders are the people who spend most of their time in the building, which is the students, the educators, and the staff. And I can't make that decision until then. But in regards to school safety, we already know a lot of things about keeping schools safe. We know single points of entry, and we know that if you can get law enforcement in there quickly, that you're going to save lives. And other states have passed Alyssa's law, which I would love to see Oregon do, which is requiring silent panic alarms. So the law enforcement get there immediately, and that is what I would also like to see us do.
Great. On the topic of the legislature, in March, they allocated $250 million for summer programs to help students catch up and gain enrichment after this year of online learning. How do you think this funding should be used in Redmond?
What I would like to, well, I look to see, is there a plan? And the Oregon Department of Education has put together guidelines for summer learning. It just came out April 14th. And they use really great research from the RAND Corporation, who's been writing summer learning guides for quite a while. And what I was seeing in there that stood out for me was hiring effective educators for these summer programs that understand that our goal is, and this is in the ODE guideline, wellness, unfinished learning, and enrichment, and connection, helping kids feel reconnected. And then also part of that is looking at what individualized attention the students might need to complete that unfinished learning. And the other funding piece that I liked about that was they would also be hiring high school and college students that are on education tracks, partnering with employers in the area. So there's a lot of really great stuff in that guide. Another thing that I would really love to see is there are some great models where parents are learning at the same time as their kids. What The Incredible Years is one that I am a big fan of. And what I would love to see is parents being able to actually come in and maybe get some enrichment opportunities in the summer as well. And a really big one is understanding the cyber world and social media. Parents really need, that's what I do for a living. I mean, one of the things I do is I teach parents how to understand what's going on in that world. And another funding thing is pizza.
Yes.
Lots of pizza.
Kids like pizza.
Absolutely.
So in other interviews, we've left this for a little later down, but you brought up social media, so I'll ask it now. What's your approach to using social media as a school board member? What role do you think that has for a board member? And how do you approach it? Because I know it's gotten pretty contentious over the last year.
So, I am not a digital native. I was born in the 70s. But I have had, in my career, I have to know what's going on with social media. I have to stay educated because part of my job is to keep kids safe and to teach their parents how to keep them safe. So I've had the benefit of learning a lot about social media. And in regards to a school board member, it's an amazing tool. You can gather information from your constituents. You can share information. You can share progress and celebrations. And I think it's a great tool. I think one thing that public leaders need to understand is that their personal public profile is fair game. And wouldn't it be great if it could be private and we had, but it's not, and that represents you and your values. So if you've got some things on your personal public profile, you better be able to stand behind those things.
Thanks. Kind of similar question. What responsibilities do school board members have in terms of communication with staff, parents, and the community at large? I love talking to people. I love people's stories, tell me all about it. And
this is something I have to do in my role at work, and will certainly at the school board is, when I'm in family homes, I'm a little bit more like, tell me all about it. And I'm going to advocate for you, but I can't do that as a school board member. I can do the tell me all about it part. And because I want to know what you're experiencing, and then I can go ask the questions. But I can't make any promises. I really am there to listen, to learn, and to help the superintendent and staff guide them in making those decisions. I really think it's important. You need to be visible, though. You need to be. I know that board members are already doing a great job at this, being at graduations, showing up at events, making sure that they're participating in school and community events.
Great. What is your overall impression of how the district has handled the COVID-19 pandemic, and what might you have done differently?
So that's a great question, Nicole. So I am not a public health expert, and I am not going to pretend to be one. I've done tons of reading, tons of research. I really, our school district had to follow the executive orders. And I read through the 88-page Ready Schools Safe Learners Guide that schools have to use to develop an operational blueprint. And I was in awe. I talked to an educator. I'm like, what was it like receiving that? And he had shared, we have somebody that knows how to read those things and tell us what to do. So the amount of work that they had to do at the drop of a hat I'm in awe of, actually. And so I really think they did the best they could with what we knew. And my questions would be, because pandemic was a predictable problem. We just like an earthquake, we know that it's going to happen, we just don't know when, and we're all experiencing it right now. What can we learn for the future? And one of the questions I would ask is, did we do enough to have caring and engaged eyes on all of our kids? I know we lost some kids, and there could be some long-term negative effects. Did we do enough there, and what more could we have done?
Thanks. I'm just writing out what you said. Caring and engaged adults. Okay, let's see. So the past year has also brought increased attention to the needs of people of color and students of color. What if any changes would you make or propose in the district to better meet those students, their needs?
And this is a very important topic to me. The superintendent was given direction from the board to address this issue, and so an equity task force was put together. And even during everything else that was going on, he followed through on that. And I applied and got appointed to it. So I get to serve on it. And we are still in that process of, we've identified the priority areas. And those areas are, and I'm oversimplifying this, and the amazing work of the people on this task force. We're looking at discipline practices for equity. The staff are developing an equity lens that we would use to make our decisions as a district. We're looking at increasing the diversity of our workforce, so kids can see teachers that look like them and talk to teachers that share their lived experience, and training. And that's a huge, broad topic. I'm not on that committee, but they're getting into the weeds on that. And the one thing that is really core in our work is that there's no finish line to ensuring equity until we have achieved a just and equitable future for all kids. So this work is ongoing. There's no we did it until it's done.
Yeah. So the board is responsible more broadly for setting policy for the district. Are there any policies you'd want to revisit or adopt if elected?
I'm let me just say I'm kind of a policy nerd. I really like getting my highlighter out and looking stuff up and making sure I understand it. So I haven't done that work yet. I have on discipline, and I did look up weapons policies in regards to Senate Bill 554. So as things are coming up, I'm getting into the policies, but I have not, other than the equity work, which is crucial, I have not made any decisions about adding or changing policies.
Fair enough. So let's see, really, I just have one more question. Just wanted to cover, is there anything that I didn't bring up that you would like to talk about?
I'm a very sure. I'm a very optimistic person. I'm thankfully very just blessed with that lens. And I'm signed up for the most public job interview for a volunteer position, because it's important to me that we are educating our kids for their futures and not our past. And we have some opportunities here, and I understand that we all want to get back to normal, but normal wasn't working for all of our kids. And in this process of going through this trauma, we've also realized we could do things that we didn't think we could do. As a disability rights advocate, people with disabilities were, oh no, you can't work from home. Oh wait, now everybody can work from home, right? So let's keep that innovation going. Let's do some lessons learned. Let's not be so hasty to move forward that we don't look at some gifts that were given to us in this time. And I hate to say gifts is too strong for COVID, but we've learned some things, and I want to keep an eye on that. And I also know that it's been a divisive time, but I have also seen neighbors caring for neighbors. Unimaginable generosity. I'm part of this group of folks that serves meals to our unhoused population, and we just got a garbage truck and a shower truck and all these amazing things. People are pulling money out of their pocket to help their community. So there's a lot of really great stuff going on, and I think we're going to figure this out and get to that place where we are happy, productive, and united again. I don't want to be oh, we're going to be united again. I know that it's tough, but I'm a very hopeful person, and I can see that future.
Thanks. So one last thing, your opponent has opted not to take part in this interview, but I'd like to give you the opportunity to tell us what sets you apart from your opponent.
Oh, man.
I
know. Sorry. And this is the whole, you got when you run for office. Yeah, I'm just trying to sell myself. But some things that set me apart are, I've been watching school board meetings. I've been reading through minutes and policies, and my opponent is a mom that cares about kids. Bottom line, we're both here for the right reasons. Some things that I would disagree with is we would have voted in the same way on some things, but in regards to the Every Student Belongs Act, there was some questions about, should Confederate flags and nooses, for example, be protected under free speech? I differ in a viewpoint there, but again, we both would have voted the same way. So I want to, make sure that, she did vote for it. So this is a tough one. We're both public servants, just trying to do the right thing. I think our values are a little bit different in some areas, but we both really care about Redmond and our kids.
Great. Well, that concludes our interview today. We want to just thank you on behalf of the source for taking part in the process. We know it's not easy running for office, and we just like to end each one just by thanking all the candidates for throwing their hats in the ring and taking part in the democratic process.
Thank you so much for
So thank
having me.
you. Yeah.